Well, hello there, welcome back to my channel, guys. Yes, today, as you can see, I have for you yet again another exciting video. You would have seen me showing some picture just now, right, guys? And as you can see, as the title suggests, some Seventh-day Adventists isolating themselves from society. The fruits of Adventism, part 2, right? I did a part 1 video, right, titled Woman Drop Law Studies to Join SDA Offshoots, the Fruit of Seventh-day Adventism, part 1, right? You can go check out that video. It's in my, as a matter of fact, I'm going to try to pin it in the comment section, but if you don't see it there, you can look in the playlist section titled Every Time Seventh-day Adventist Does Something Strange, right? You can look in that playlist section and you'll find it there. Yes, so today we'll be having a discussion, right, on some SDAs actually isolating themselves from society. Yesterday, October 31st, 2021, right, it came out in the Jamaica Gleaner, right, stating that some Seventh-day Adventists, the title of the other article is Nothing to Hide, right? In my part 1 video, I made mention that the young lady in the video who basically dropped her studies to go and join the same Blueprint ministry, FTB ministry, right? When her father had stated that she started to act strange, she started acting differently and she was reading some books, right? And I said in the video that I suppose that those books are Ellen G. White books, right? Now, the young lady did say that the reason why she had made this move is because most likely the SDA church, they're not adhering fully to Ellen G. White writings. As I would have stated in that video, the church leaders know that Ellen G. White, she's a false prophet. All of them know that, or most of them, right? So, some of her teachings, especially the extreme ones, they don't follow everything that she teach. They just pick and choose what's convenient for them, and those are the ones that they will actually obey in, so to speak. But she being a fundamental Adventist, she has to obey everything that is written by the quote-unquote inspired prophet of the Lord, right? So the thing that I've been thinking about, right, is the father. And I stated that the father is most likely either a traditional SDA or an evangelical SDA. In my part when I stated that there are 4 groups of SDAs, right, and that the young lady most likely she's a fundamental Adventist who is basically hardcore SDA who follows everything that Ellen G. White writes. But her parents is most likely a traditionalist or evangelical. The very fact that she said that they are not full-fledged SDAs, then even though they claim they are SDAs, that's what the daughter says in her parents are full-fledged SDAs, right? And I think that it's most likely the fact that they are either traditional or an evangelical, but now I'm led to believe that they are evangelicals, because the very fact that the father couldn't point out the books that she was reading, but said that she began reading some books, right? I'm wondering, because if you're a traditionalist, you know, you should at least know Ellen G. White, and you're supposed to can identify an Ellen G. White book. So either they are evangelicals, I don't know. But nevertheless, I stated that I'm going to show in my previous video some books of Ellen G. White. This is early writings. This is Desire of Ages, and this is the most popular Ellen G. White book is this one, The Great Controversy. This is the one that they often try to circulate to everyone, and this is the one that contains the whole Sunday law and country living foolishness. This one contains most of that, right? So the reason why you see them isolating themselves, right, and going into country era and so forth to live isolated areas, it is because this book, this one in particular, is the one that tells them that they should actually do that. Remember, you know, I'm a former Seventh-day Adventist. As a matter of fact, I was in the colporteur ministry, or I was a canvasser then. One who is a canvasser or is in the colporteur ministry in the SDA church, those persons actually sell books. They work with the church where they sell their books. Even though I'm still registered in their system, right? I am still currently registered in their system, and I can at this point in time go and credit books, right, for sale, because I'm still registered in their system. I used to sell books, and it's because of that I still have these. I decided to keep them, though they are garbage. They deserve to be dumped in the trash, you know. But I keep them just in case persons want to say that I am bitter and I hate the SDA church and I'm telling lie on them. I keep them as hard copy evidence for myself. That said, let us see how fast we can actually go through the article, right? Let's see how fast we can go through it. I'm gonna do speed reading because I've said quite a number of things and take up a couple time. Those books that you even see in the link that you see I show on the screen, I once had those books, right? But I believe I had sold them. I don't have them anymore, right? Ministry of Healing will tell them that when you see they planting crops and all those things, the particular one that you see, go back in the video and you see in the early part, Ministry of Healing, that's the one that advocate for them to plant stuff and all those things, right? So now, that being said, let us go through the article. Let's go through the article. It reads thus. I'm not going to read everything. So it reads thus: a breakaway from the local Seventh-day Adventist Church denomination has established a commune in the deep bowels of St. Mary, preparing for the second coming with little to no plans of interfacing with the government or the rest of society. The journey to the Bell Hill commune, where members of the following blueprint or FTB ministries are constructing houses, a clinic, a school and other facilities in preparation for the rapture, is not for the faint of heart. After a deadly ritual unfolded at the Montego Bay-based Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries, as the now deceased Pastor Kevin O. Smith, who had a penchant of grand titles, styling himself as His Excellency, reportedly sought to weed out the unclean members from his ark. The St. Mary police turned their spotlight on the group in the hills. Now I have videos done on the Pathway cult, right? I have 2 videos, right, which you can find in my playlist section on cults/New Age movements. It continues. So remote is the commune that, as the Sunday Gleaner made plans to visit the area over a week ago, one person said it is so rural that if His Excellency's church happened in Bell Hill, not even a stink would smell. A police spokesperson also cautioned our news team against plans to enter the area. Although the Sunday Gleaner was unable to get details of the police recent visit to the commune, following the Blueprint Ministries gained recent notoriety when a 22-year-old law student decided to quit school, break the padlock on the grill to her Cornwall Courts, Montego Bay home on September 29 and take off to join the group, which reportedly also has a base in Portmore, St. Catharines. Yes, after a missing persons report was filed, the young woman addressed a church service stream online saying that she had left of her own free will, noting a charge in her eating habits, mannerism, and mode of dress. Before her disappearance, her worried parents have expressed concern for her safety, urging her to return home. The FTB group is said to be rapture-bound, awaiting the second coming. Followers say the world is at end times and they are in preparation mode, responding to Ellen G. White's call to leave the cities as they isolate themselves. Adventists believe that White, a co-founder of the denomination, was a prophet inspired by God in her writings, similar to the disciples. Professionals from various sectors, including medical, financial, and education, are said to be followers, but those the Sunday Gleaner found at the St. Mary Commune last week were carpenters, the known profession of Jesus Christ. At least one high school teacher from the parish is a settler. Our news team has confirmed. Most of the houses along the way had been abandoned. Only 3 appeared habitable. One elderly Bell Hill resident told the Sunday Gleaner that he has lived in the community all his life and that most of the other residents had either died or moved away. About 400 meters further along, a black Honda CRV was parked across the road from where a zinc and lumber laid in crude pathway to a board structure. Following the sounds of hammering, our news team found 3 men, 2 on the roof, nailing zinc, while the third sat on plastic container on the ground. Elijah Watson said he was a carpenter and was on the site doing a job. However, it didn't take long for him to begin reeling off scriptures. When we asked about the commune, according to him, he was doing the work of God and pointed the team to Matthew 24, the prophecy of the destruction of Jerusalem. He and others were so convicted to begin preparation to remove themselves from the current existence. Now, the prophecy of Matthew 24 read the destruction of Jerusalem. The idea of bringing up Matthew 24 and the destruction of Jerusalem, persons who are non-Adventists would wonder why they even bring up that, because that has long passed and gone, right? And in truth and in fact, this is a very foolish argument to even bring up to justify what they're doing. But when it comes to SDAs, right, scripture passages can often have dual application, right? This is how SDAs do it, you know. Sometimes they will take scripture passages and prophecies that long pass and they will apply a dual application, as though what is being said in Matthew 24 when it says that they should flee to the mountains, and I think something like that is written in great controversy too, you know. I believe Ellen G. White talk about something that their followers should actually flee to the mountains, just as though it was with the destruction of Jerusalem and Jesus told them to flee to the mountains. The followers must isolate themselves and flee to mountains and country areas and so forth. That's a prophecy that was fulfilled already, you know, and has no application whatsoever to Christians. There is nowhere in the Bible where it says that it's supposed to have a dual application, but because Ellen White says so, this is why they apply a dual application to that prophecy. Right? So I'm just stating this for non-Adventists who might be wondering what's the big idea in bringing up that. Yes? Auntie Ellen says it, so therefore it stands as doctrine. Right? Watson said he and others were supporters of following the Blueprint Ministries. We are children of God and we are called to gather. This is what he says. We are children of God and we are called to gather to the mountains and feed ourselves from the land. Ellen White tell them that, you know, right? And she uses Matthew 24 to justify that. So this is what he says, and told the Gleaner as he and other men attached zinc to a board structure about 100 feet long by 20 feet wide. Enquiries about the whereabouts of the leader of the commune, Andre Buchanan, sent us to Donington. Enquiries about the whereabouts of the leader of the commune, Andre Buchanan, sent us to Donington. Donington, we found Andre Buchanan, the man who oversees the following the Blueprint Ministries in deep rural St. Mary, which has no running water or roads. His house was outfitted with electricity, and he also had a river in his backyard. He described himself as a lay preacher in the Adventist church and pushed back at suggestion that the group could be a cult. This is not a cult. That is him speaking now. We are servants of God, and I am but a humble servant of God following the teachings of Ellen G. White, who we know was inspired by God. we chose to follow them strictly, especially about country living. Right? These are all the fundamentals, as I said before, you know. They follow Ellen G. White writing strictly, or at least they try to. Right? And you hear him talk about especially about country living. Right? Now, I have a video on country living itself, right? I'll put on the screen where in the playlist section you can actually find this video where I utterly debunk Ellen G. White's argument on the whole country living, right? And show you that this is an unbiblical teaching, because nowhere in the Bible does Christ actually instruct Christians to actually go and live in the country. Every argument and scripture passage that they use for it, I debunked it in that video, so you can go and check it out, because I'm not going to debunk that again in this video, right? But this is what he told the Sunday Gleaner, referencing one of White's books of doctrine. The book's forward notes that its counsels and warnings have challenged many Seventh-day Adventists to examine carefully the effects of urban living on their lives and to reevaluate where they choose to live. It has highlighted the dangers of involvement with labor unions and other sources of party strife in the cities. At the same time, it has helped those with a burden for city evangelism to consider how best to be in the world but not of the world. Buchanan said that they were on a mission to develop this country living across Jamaica. As Ellen White noted that the cities do not provide wholesome environments for Christian families. He said that the October ritual in Montego Bay, which ended with 3 persons dead, could not unfold within his ministry. I am not His Excellency, and we are not connected to him in any way, shape, or form. What happened there could not happen with us, because we are no flesh eaters. We have no use of blood here, so there could be no sacrifices here. Our aim is that individuals who feel sufficiently convicted develop similar communities of country living across all parishes, he explained. Buchanan could not say how many members were part of the ministry founded in 2002 by Vincent who continues to lead the group along with William Leckie. Right? Yes, the community of saints has established their commune on leased lands. And although he was responsible for securing the lands, Buchanan could not say how many acres were leased in Bell Hill or from whom. And this is the part that you're going to love now. I am Adventist to the bone. They call me Engine because I like to build. I am a carpenter and mechanic, but in my other life, I work as an accountant until I became convicted by the inspiration for country living, said Buchanan, a man of roughly 5 feet 5 inches and of medium build who appeared to be in his mid to late 30s. Now the part about him being an Adventist to the bone. Here's what I am. I am a Christian to the bone, right? I am a follower or disciple of Christ to the bone. You see the difference? And this is what I tell you, about fundamentals, When I tell you that they are literally an Adventist to the bone, not a follower of Christ to the bone, It's like they're married to the Seventh-day Adventist church. They'll follow every single thing that comes from the church, especially from the mouth of Ellen G. White. And this is how Adventists are. I said that in my previous video, right? Now let me continue. Buchanan said that he had heard of the police's recent visit to the commune. I was actually at a wedding on the day the police went to the area, but I don't have a problem with them because we are not breaking any law. They were doing their job, and so they did not breach our constitutional rights. So I did not have a problem with their visit, Buchanan said. I am just a lay preacher in the Adventist church. We are here to do God's will. It's really Ellen White's will still. We eat from the land and we are cultivating the foods to feed our bodies. We are doing manual work in preparation for the destruction of Jerusalem, of which Jesus spoke to his disciples in Matthew 24, said Buchanan, who sported a pair of black jeans, a black long sleeve shirt, and a pair of black socks. Now the destruction of Jerusalem happened already, but this is their dual application of the prophecy. Right? No non-Adventists listening to this must be laughing and shaking their head. right? Now, here, this part you're going to love now. They believe the government is getting ready to designate Sunday as the official day of worship. For them, such an action was the mark of the beast. And they get it from this book again, you know. This book primarily. Right? Delroy Green clearly believes so. What we know is that the Bible tells us that the smaller beast, that is America, is going to rise up and strengthen the bigger beast, which is Rome and the Pope. We don't believe in any popery, so we are preparing for that day. And no one can tell us when to worship. The Bible speaks about the Sabbath day and we intend to keep it holy, he told the Sunday Gleaner. Green, a resident of Constitution Inn and Duane Park in St. Andrew, said he was a carpenter working on cabins. While he had not yet constructed his own cabin, he was busy building for those who will not join the commune in the future. He was busy building for those who will join the commune in the future. Right? And the link ends by saying, this is a way of life for those who are sufficiently convicted in God's ideal way of life. There is no deception here. We have nothing to hide. We know we will be persecuted. They will call us mad. But we know who we are. This is a physical and spiritual test of character, Green said. And the idea that they'll be persecuted for the day of worship and so forth, you find all of that in this book, The Great Controversy. Right? But there you have it, guys. The fruits of Adventism. I'm glad that Jamaica, a country of which Seventh-day Adventist Church is most dominant, they are the most dominant denomination in Jamaica. And I am happy that Jamaicans are finally getting to see what Seventh-day Adventists truly believe. All things religious get validation from this, you know. I am vindicted and validated by all these things, you know. So when I see these things, I have to take advantage and capitalize on it. Right? Now, you would have seen Phil Johnson on the thumbnail, right? I am going to end, right, by showing you a clip from Phil Johnson, where Phil Johnson basically states that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is a breeding ground for much smaller and more deadly cults. And this breakaway from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, you know, is a clear example of what Phil Johnson is talking about. That Seventh-day Adventists, the movement itself, gave birth to many cults, and that is why he says that it is a breeding ground for cults. And you're seeing it happening here. You're seeing it happening. But I end now, right? And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. That said, check out the video. Bye-bye now.
Owing to the antiquity of the Catholic system, we don't generally classify them as a cult. We reserve that term for these authoritarian groups that spring up suddenly with new revelation and new doctrines, and it sort of come out of nowhere. And prior to 1960 or so, these four major groups were what came to mind whenever evangelicals talked about cults. But then starting in the late 1960s, we had the proliferation of a number of new, smaller, but often even more deadly cults that arose. They started making secular news headlines with everything from, criminal activities to mass suicides. You had the Children of God, the Branch Davidians, Jim Jones and the Jonestown People's Temple, the Worldwide Church of God, the Way International, and lots of lesser-known cults, including one really small cult that was started by a small group of people who were excommunicated from Grace Church in the 1990s. They called themselves a true church. They still exist somewhere in Oklahoma, and I think their group is melting down. You have another cult up the road in Santa Clarita, the Tony Alamo Christian Foundation. These are all dangerous, authoritarian groups that teach novel doctrines. And several of the new cults were offshoots of Seventh-day Adventism, including the Branch Davidians. They started out as Seventh-day Adventists. The Worldwide Church of God, which basically absorbed the Seventh-day Adventist system and a whole bunch of other heresies and melted them together. There was a group called the Shepherd's Rod. There was a group called the Church of Bible Understanding. And then you had the Seventh-day Adventist Reform Movement, all of these new cults that came out of the Seventh-day Adventist movement. And as a point of historical interest, the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses, Charles Taze Russell, started out as an early Seventh-day Adventist. So Seventh-day Adventism has always been a breeding ground for new and more dangerous cults.